That's nuts. So we were talking the other day about Star Citizen, and people wanted to know my take on Star Citizen, and I don't like it, and the reason why is because of this. Because the game feels more like a storefront than a game. But I didn't know something about this. How many of you guys have spent over $1,000 on Star Citizen? And it's okay. Don't worry. I'm not going to berate you. You can spend your money whatever way you want. Because someone has sent me an image, and I'd like to know if we can verify that this exists. You have? Do you have access to another page in the store that no one else has access to? Because I was sent this that shows another page on the store that has up to $15,000 in packages on that. So they have a... Yes, the answer is yes, you do have access to that. So they have a secondary store that they try to give to people that have already given $1,000. So there's a store within a store. It's a whale page, yes. This is why I won't be playing Star Citizen. It is not because the game doesn't have promise, because it does. It's because of this. This is gross, dude. It's gross to me. It's not about greed. It's gross. This is, to me, this is predatory. And it's something that I don't want to see in our industry, so it makes me not want to engage. There's a page that doesn't unlock until you spend 10K. And anybody who's... Please don't tell me you've done that. Don't tell me there's a 10K page. Jesus Christ, dude. That's so rough. That's so rough. Is the 10K page on Google? I don't know. The idea of a VIP store really bothers me, though. This really, really bothers me. Because I can't verify this is real. I'm not going to give them $1,000 to find out, right? But if some of you out there have paid $1,000 and you do see this page, and you can send me more proof of this, that really bothers the shit out of me. That really bothers the shit out of me. That's 100% real. I'll deem it to you, Thor. Kronos, you've got it. Have reviewed and provided feedback. Thank you. It looks like it's up on IGN as well. Star Citizen introducing a $48,000 ship bundle, but only players who have already spent $10,000. Dude, I can't get behind this. I can't. Like, I cannot do this. Developer Cloud Imperium Games is releasing a ship bundle for its controversial space simulator that costs an eye-watering $48,000. Star Citizen's Chairman's Club, one which requires spending at least $10,000 on other in-game items to achieve. Jesus Christ, dude. This is why I said it feels more like a storefront than it does a game. It's not good. That is not good. Like, Jesus, dude. This is so far down the route of anti-video game to me that I know that there are some of you that may love this game, that may love it for what it could be, but as a game developer, that shit is awful to me. That is really, really awful to me. And I cannot possibly get behind that, dude. I just can't. As a player and as a dev, I look at that and I just go, no, I don't want that to be a thing. I don't want that to be a thing at all. What is this? Tools, list of ship packages. So you can actually pull it from starcitizen.tools. Let's go look. Oh my shit. Oh my shit. How far does this go? It's not even the top one? Does it keep going? Yeah, dude, I can't do that. This is stupid. There's a level of stupid that's in this that's starting to get like... Because what ends up happening in terms of player behavior at this point is you start getting this idea where somebody will buy into this and then they rapidly have to defend not the game, but the idea of their purchase being valuable. And they'll have to defend that against other people that don't agree. And it becomes an emotional fight over, I spent all this money, so I feel emotionally invested in this. And that's the thing that's rough, right? You're so wrong about this? What about this am I wrong about? What is it that I'm wrong about? Like, tell me, because this bothers me. This preys on a person in a way that I think is very bad for our industry. I think it is very bad for our industry. I don't think it's stupid, but I think it preys on people in a way where they get emotionally invested in a cost, and then they have to defend that in a way that ends up causing strife for them, right? That's not a good thing. It's fine to have microtransactions. I don't think it's fine to have a microtransaction that's basically a down payment on a house. I just don't think it is. I think that goes into the world of egregious, frankly. $42,000 is a 10% down payment on a $420,000 house. Like, that's some crazy shit, dude. That's some crazy shit. Yeah, it's not a microtransaction anymore. It's a mega transaction. It's like 4 or 5 cars, right? Ugh. Yeah, it bothers the shit out of me. And you may say that I'm wrong about this, but dude, this is a feeling thing. This is not a fact thing. This feels gross to me. And you have to understand, somebody who's not invested inside of this environment looks at things like this and goes, what the hell is that? The first thing that I see when I see this, I go, that's disgusting. My immediate gut reaction is, that's disgusting. And if you can package this in a way that makes sense to me, please do so, because I cannot get behind this. This is gross to me. It completely undermines any faith that I have in the game, because it's just a gross way to be selling games. It undermines my faith in the game completely. Like, they can make a beautiful, wonderful game out of this, but this is so off-putting that I won't engage with it. Does that make sense? I've sent you full details, including their own support page about it. Let's see. Gets a special link on the account page from their Concierge Club. So there is actually a page describing this. As you contribute to Star Citizen Squadron 42 with pledges, you may earn memberships and levels within Concierge. So they actually do have a page specifically describing this. God, it's so blinding. So they do actually have a page describing this, which even this, if you spend $1,000, High Admiral. So we were seeing the cost from a High Admiral slot. So they do have these different slots that unlock additional purchases. All the way up to 25,000. Jesus, dude. This stuff is nuts to me. What it reminds me of is this. A Kickstarter is a flashpoint moment for you to fund a video game. They have turned Kickstarter into a business model, an ongoing business model to me, because a lot of this stuff is non-functional. The game is not fully realized. It feels like a Kickstarter funding round that never ended. As a dev, I don't like that direction for games. I don't want that to be a thing. So, like, if you have a differing opinion, if you think the game is really good, explain to me in a way that makes this palatable, because to me, this doesn't feel good. This feels bad. This feels like a bad direction for this. It feels like a Kickstarter that never ended, right? Not defending the practice in any way, but that $42,000 package is everything that is purchasable in-game, and it gets updated every year to add new ships they've added to the package. Okay, I can understand that being a selling point, where they just add more and more and more new shit to it. But also, $42,000 is a salary of many people for a year on a game that is not currently fully realized. In fact, it's more than some people make in a year. More than many people make in a year. It's not a greed thing. I don't think it's a greed thing because it's obviously not going after the average consumer, right? Difficult to justify because those price tags are disgusting. That's kind of how I feel about it. I'm trying to find a way. This is why I want to have a conversation about it, because it's not about bashing people who are into Star Citizen. Don't misunderstand that. I want to talk about this, not be a dick to you because you like the video game. The game is likely going to be fine. This is just something I can't get behind. It's something that looks gross to me. It feels gross to me, if that makes sense. I would love to hear about Star Citizen from you. I think the game looks compelling, but it also feels like a lot of slices of something that looks compelling that are not currently organized into a complete video game. That may change, right? They may bring that together finally into something that is a fully cohesive, fully realized environment, but they're not there yet. So seeing these types of price tags is deeply off-putting to me as a consumer and deeply off-putting to me as a developer. So it makes me less likely to want to engage with this and want to show this to people. That's my total overall feeling for the game. It feels more like a storefront than it does a game to me because of this. Off-putting is sad. Pudding is delicious, frankly. I like the game itself, but I cannot see myself spending that much money on it. I'd rather use that kind of money on so many other things. I'm going to be real with you. I don't like spending money on games. I like buying the video game, and I like doing in-game content, to be real. The idea of purchasing something like this is something that I would never do, not just because of the price tag, but because I want to earn these things. I want them to matter to me on an emotional level, not on I bought it. I beat the game with my credit card is not something I ever want, because it doesn't feel good to me. There's no kind of value in that to me. It's why I don't do character boosts. I just go level my character, right? Like, that's the whole point with that. Pay to win sucks. I don't even know if it's pay to win, because I don't even know if this gives you a significant advantage in the game. I have no idea. It likely does, because you have so many more tools at hand that other players don't, right? But it's also like $42,000, right? That's freaking insane. What is this? Legatus. What is that? Jesus Christ. What in the shit? What do you mean in stock? It's digital goods. What do you mean in stock? That's heavily misleading. Jesus Christ. Limited slots? So we're doing limited slots on so we're doing FOMO on a $48,000 purchase. That's what we're doing? My respect level is decreasing as we have this conversation. You realize that. We're putting FOMO on a $48,000 purchase now. FOMO, fear of missing out. It is putting an emotional tie to the... We're going to wait for the ads. We're going to wait for the ads. I'll explain it afterwards. We wait for ads, chat. We wait. This is getting actually pretty funny. Yes. I'm always down to talk about this stuff, and I'll always give you my real take on it. This feels bad. Reminds me of Eve. Eve has a lot of pay to win now, yeah. Okay, so we're going to get back to this. So if you don't know what FOMO is fear of missing out. It's a marketing tactic that people use where they say that there's a limited number of stock, or this is a limited time event, right? Whatever it's going to be. And they say if you don't do it now, then you'll miss out forever, right? So FOMO is generally used to try and force a purchase from somebody who's already on the edge. You're like, hey, you should do it now. You're going to miss out. You do it, buy the thing now, you're going to miss out, right? Normal shit. Normal shit happens all the time in the market. Putting artificial scarcity where you say buy it now or you miss out forever on a $48,000 purchase is insane shit. That is disgusting to me. Let me give you an example of anti-FOMO. This is FOMO. This in stock. You may miss out. The 48K is not limited. Then why does it say in stock? Why would it possibly say that? So to be real with you, a good example of anti-FOMO is actually Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 is anti-FOMO, which is great. They don't have any of this shit. They release these paid packages of new stuff, and they didn't get rid of the old one. Their old one stays forever, and because it stays forever, you don't have to feel pressured to buy it. It is always going to be there for the lifetime of the game. They keep it forever. So that way you're never pressured, oh, I got to get it now or I'm going to miss out. There is no miss out. It's there, which is great. That's a fantastic move. In fact, I'm going to be incorporating this into Block Game because one of the things that I had before is I have seasonal events. Because I like seasonal events, it's kind of a fun moment for you guys to go and find items and get stuff that is actually set up around that event. Seasonal events can be fun, but for some people this ends up being FOMO because they're like, oh, I got to go play right now or I'm going to miss out on this. So the way that I'm going to handle this now is instead of having it be FOMO, I want there to be random portals that can open up in Murkheim. And when those random portals open up, that one will lead to the dimension that has that seasonal event out of season. So if the community finds one, they're able to go and get some seasonal event stuff that otherwise they wouldn't be able to get, which gets rid of FOMO. And it becomes a community thing where people can have fun with that. So this is something that I have planned for the game to remove that FOMO feel, even though they're seasonal events. Stuff that I've never seen before in a game. And I was like, you know what? This would be a cool thing to do because I saw what Helldivers was doing. Yeah. So there are ways to get rid of this. It's a great idea. Yes, it ends up being really fun. It's just like a seasonal event portal, right? Some way to engage with the community. And when someone finds one, they're going to want to tell other people about it. I'm trying to get randomized portals into their own like structure generating in Murkheim. Once I can do that, we can do some cool shit. So that's kind of that's the technical hurdle that I have to get over right now. That's why I can't play Warframe. Yeah, it's funny too because I like seasonal events, but I can understand that. I can understand that people feel like that's fear of missing out, a seasonal event. So yeah, I think that's important to understand. But this is just too much for me. I think this shit is too much. I can't feel engaged with this. I don't think I ever will, based on the way that they are running this. It's just gross. It's gross to me. Will AOC have anti-FOMO mentality? I don't know. Ashes of Creation has only cosmetic purchases, which makes this less of a big deal to me. You can have all the purchases you want. If that shit's just cosmetic, I don't give a shit. I don't care. The only time that cosmetic purchases become a problem is mounts in World of Warcraft. Do you know why? It's a pretty simple one, too. If you have a mount in the store, and the mount in the store is really, really good, but it costs money, and this development team spent a lot of time making this a really good mount, and then you have a mount that comes from effort-based mount, so it's store mount and an effort mount. Let's say that this mount is from getting mythic raid boss down, right? And it's bad. It's just a recolor. Then we have a problem. You need to make sure that these two things are in parity with each other. This one feels really good, and this one also feels really good. Effort mounts need to be unique, store mounts need to be unique, and that's hard to do because the development studio largely goes, holy shit, every time we release a new mount for $15, it's like releasing an entire video game, but with none of the cost. It's a big deal. It's really a lot of money to do this. It's a huge amount of money to do this. And slowly over time, without having proper controls in place, your development team starts to shift towards a cycle of releasing new mounts for money rather than releasing new mounts for effort, and then it erodes player effort in the game. And you have to make sure not to have that be a problem, right? So that ends up being an issue. So that's the one thing you have to think about when you're like, I'm going to do a mounts for money thing. And WoW kind of screwed that up for a long time. And I know that because it was an endgame raider and it bothered the shit out of me.